Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology. I'm your Astro Weather Girl, here with this week's Astro Weather Report. I'm going to show you how the stars are going to affect your life this week. In my videos, I use both Vedic and traditional Western techniques with tropical astrology, not sidereal astrology. I also use the traditional system of whole sign astrology for my analysis. You can use this video to the best of your advantage by listening to the introduction to understand what the week holds for you, and then going to the timestamps for your sun, moon, and rising sign to get a more personalized forecast for the week ahead. Astrology is not designed to scare you. It's designed to give you information so that you know what the good and the challenging energies in the week ahead will be, and you can therefore consciously work with them to the best of your advantage. Remember, knowledge is power. Now, there are scammers about, and so if you should receive a message from me on any platform requesting your money for a reading, know that it is a scam. Report them immediately. And now settle in and let's see what the astral skies have in store for the week ahead. Well, hello, my beautiful astrology lovers. Thank you for joining me for this week's Astro Weather Report. We've got a short and sweet Astro Weather Report for you this week, and we are looking for all signs at the effect of Uranus turning direct. Exciting times. We're going to have all planets moving in a direct motion, and thank God for that. We can really start to get some momentum about our lives, some purpose, and our running shoes on. Before we begin, I'm going to explore the energies coming up in the week ahead from the 21st to the 28th of January. But I also want to encourage everybody to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, because if you do, you will go into the draw to win a solar return report for the month of January. I'm very happy to give away a free solar return report to one person who wins every month, and then you can find out what's in store for you in the year ahead. If you would like a solar return report, I do sell them for $25 on my Guiding Star Astrology website. Links in the description below, so you can get your own year ahead solar return report whenever you like. Now, that said, you also have 1 week left to get in and get your position in the Royal Stars Academy course, the introductory level for 2023. So come and learn astrology with me. It's $500 off. You cannot get cheaper than that. That is a bargain. Come and start either your certified astrology course. You want to be a certified astrologer, you begin with the introductory level of the Royal Stars Academy. Or if you just want to study for your own joy and fulfillment and understanding, you can come and study with me as well. But do it now while the going's good. While there's $500 off, link is also in the description below. So let's begin. Let's have a look at the 21st to the 28th of January. Well, we've had a new moon. We're having a new moon this weekend at 1 degree of Aquarius on the 22nd of January. So here's Aquarius and here's the new moon. I talk all about that in my Patreon report for all signs. It's a special moon, new moon. It's a very interesting new moon. It falls at the degree of the grand conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn that occurred in 2020. And there's many implications for that about this new moon that you might want to join the Royal Stars Academy Patreon family. It's a different thing to find out all about. Don't be surprised with this moon to see sudden changes to cultural norms coming in now. The masses can have an impact on rulership as a result of the effects of this new moon. So yay, bring it on. We have already seen a change in rulership. I'm not exactly sure why. She's not giving away much, but goodbye, Jacinda Ardern, and not before time. Okay, so that is where the new moon is occurring this weekend. There are a lot of new starts awaiting us with this new moon. It's conjunct Altair, the fixed star, or the projected point on the zodiac of Altair, the fixed star. There's so much to talk about. Come and join me at the Patreon family and find out what it means for you. Now, Uranus is going to turn direct the day after the new moon on the 23rd of January. And here is Uranus over here at 14 degrees, which is the degree he's turning direct. So if you have any planets at 14 degrees, you're going to really feel Uranus sort of wriggling down on your planet making an impact, therefore, on your life, or a point like a rising degree or a midheaven or something like that at 14 degrees. So I've been waiting for Uranus to turn direct for about 6 months, ever since he went retrograde, because it means that our intuition, our sense of independence, and our rebellious spirit, which I adore, people who've got a rebellious spirit for justice, not just rebellious for the sake of being a pain in the ass, but rebellious for all the right reasons, for reasons of, empowerment of humanity, growth of humanity, blessing of humanity. And we do need to get rebellious against certain parties that would seek to take our freedom and our independence away from us. And when Uranus is retrograde, it's harder to tap into that energy within us individually and also in the collective. But now that it's turning direct, we're going to find those sorts of things flow within us and come naturally and with ease. So for the last 6 months, humanity and certain individuals, in leadership positions, particularly we've noticed this, have been much less self-aware. But now the ability to find equality, freedom, and truth is no longer going to be as impaired. As I said, it's going to come much easier. Hurrah! Time to celebrate. Love it when Uranus mojo is working well on the planet. Now's the time, my friends, to rise up into your independence and your autonomy, to stand firm against tyranny, to find the truth that will set you free. So let your need for personal authenticity drive you forward during this empowering 6-month period while Uranus is moving in a forward motion. Thank you, Uranus, sky god and great liberator. Then also on the 23rd of January as well, we've got the conjunction that nobody really likes very much. It's this one here. Saturn and Venus, considered to be, apart from Saturn Moon, which is a pretty heavy-duty one to carry in a natal chart, this one is considered to be one of the most unfortunate conjunctions to carry in a natal chart, and it's happening for everybody this week in the sky. Well, this is my favorite astrological energy, said no one ever, the day that we don't want to engage with, the day Saturn and Venus do this tango that's not very attractive to watch. So it can be a day when we feel emotionally estranged, burdened by financial responsibilities. We might find that our feelings and emotions are squashed down for no apparent reason. We feel like we can't express ourselves or communicate our feelings very well. We have a general fear of being true to our authentic self, which is really sad that that's occurring on the same day as Uranus is turning direct, because Uranus is all about being in our authentic self. So there's this contrary nature here, push-pull energy that we're going to feel on the 23rd of January. But with regard to the Saturn-Venus conjunction, it's because we are fearful of the criticism and disapproval of other people, of their judgment of us. Now, I would say, don't worry what other people think. Follow your heart. I mean, that's an adage to live by that we hear put out there so much by so many gurus. Follow your heart, follow your higher self. But there is a fear of doing so today because of criticism. So there might be a need to sort of overcome that fear of what other people are going to say, what other people are going to think, If you want to channel the best of the Saturn-Venus energy, and there's always a good side, there's always shadow and light in every combination in the chart, then I would encourage you to get stirred into some sort of conservative action by the injustices that are in your life or in the world. And by conservative action, that might mean, going about things the legal way to find justice. It's not about, throwing eggs at the Prime Minister as he drives by in the car, much as we might be tempted to do that. It's more about, lodging a protest letter and getting enough signatures to say, I don't like what you're doing. Go about things in a conservative Saturn manner. That can actually be a way to work with this energy. You might like to do a deep dive into astrology because the very ancient texts describe this combination as being particularly brilliant for occultists and people who are interested in and brilliant at astrology. So if you've got this in your chart, Venus conjunct Saturn, yes, it's a hard, heavy-duty, heavy-hitting combination. I'm not going to talk all about what it means personally in your chart here, but it is a hard one to carry. But it does have this beautiful thumbs up, beautiful gift of making you brilliant in the realms of the occult. You can also work with this energy by taking a magnifying glass and really looking at your finances or your relationship hang-ups and making changes when needed. Venus is relationships, Venus is finances, and Saturn is to restructure something. So many of us are going to be restructuring our finances and restructuring our relationships under this influence, and that's one of the best ways to work with this energy of Saturn-Venus conjunction at 24 degrees of Aquarius. Then, a little later in the week, on the 27th of January, little old Venus, who is depicted here as being in Aquarius, is going to change signs and move into Pisces. Now, this will be special. This is wonderful because Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces. So it is a wonderful, dreamy time for all things Venusian, all things to do with Venus. And what does that mean? Well, we can appreciate the finer things of life for the next 30 days while Venus, or roughly 30 days, while Venus moves through the sign of Pisces. That means appreciating art and poetry, glamour. Those sorts of things might, renew the fire in us in some way, or we might enjoy having a relaxing break or indulging in some decadent experience. It might mean joining an art class or a dance session as a great way to immerse yourself in beautiful energy, and you might like to do that over the next 3 weeks. We're also looking under this influence of Venus moving through Pisces for unconditional love now. We might be embracing the romanticized view of the world also as well. Venus is exalted in Pisces, the romantic sign, for a reason. It wants to give, and it wants to give love, and it wants beautiful love, and it wants higher, unconditional love, the love of the divine felt in our lives. And we'll be looking for that and expressing that over the coming month. Forgiveness of others is also one of the strengths of this placement. So if there's wounds that need resolving in your life, if you need to forgive someone, or if you need to ask for their forgiveness, this is the best energy for the next 30 days to work on those things and to approach someone for forgiveness, to heal old wounds, to let go and to be free. Work with this beautiful Venus energy and you can't go wrong. All right, my friends, let's kick into our beautiful, Taurus turning direct, Uranus turning direct in the sign of Taurus. And let's start with Taurus energy over here at 14 degrees, where Uranus is wriggling down or, burrowing down on that degree, giving all he's got to the 14th degree of Taurus. Well, if you have Taurus rising or sun or moon, then you might be about to experience some sort of big change to your image, to how you look. And this might sound very superficial, but it really does play out this way. Uranus is very influential in appearance when it comes to appearance. So, and when he's in the first house, like in this case. So you might be changing the color of your hair. You might decide, I'm sick of my, frizzy long hair. I'm going to cut it all off and get a mohawk, like the lead singer of Roxette or something. So you go through a massive change to your image whenever Uranus moves through the first house. There is also an energy of breaking free. That rebellious and independent energy is pulling at your heartstrings strongly. You're going to want to take steps to enhance your own independence now. Even if you're coupled, even if you're married, you're still going to want to experience what it's like to be independent, even within the marriage or even within some sort of union that you might be a part of. So that might mean, having your own bank account, earning money in your own way. It might mean, going out and hanging out with your friends, or even, going off on a weekend trip by yourself or something like that, just to have some headspace and some you time. That is the breaking free. That's the rebelliousness. That's the independence that Uranus turning direct in the first house can pull you towards. The changes, though, that happen with Uranus in the first house will tend to be instigated by you, by the self, rather than by your outer circumstances. You'll make the decision. You'll take the first step. You'll make the choice in your heart to move in a new direction. So it's coming from you. You'll decide, I'm sick of my long hair and I want that mohawk. So you will decide and then follow through. It's not someone saying you should cut your hair off and get a mohawk. It's you saying, I want this. So that is they are some of the really key things about Uranus in the first house. But there might be some sort of also ostracization. There might be a bit of, you might experience some confusion or distrust from other people as well. That won't bother you so much. You'll be feeling in your truth and you won't really mind, because you'll know, oh, this is my heart, this is what is for me, this feels right, this feels good, what other people say, I don't care. That's a real Uranian energy, and anyone with a strong Uranus in their chart is going to be very much that way in their nature as well. You know, they're going to follow their truth, their authenticity at all costs, no matter what. And you're going to feel like this, Taurus friends, for a day at least, and perhaps a little bit longer, perhaps for the week going ahead, because of Uranus's changing of direction. Above all, it's going to be a feeling of liberation, and it's a time of feeling in your truth and feeling more authentic. There might be some sudden starts that occur in your life, a new job, or, I don't know, maybe you launch an Airbnb in your home, or there might be some sudden endings in your life as well that come from this influence, because Uranus is things that happen out of the blue and suddenly, and big things, shocking things, like life-changing things that occur, like getting a new job or moving house, or getting, I don't know, and somebody opening up a room for an Airbnb or something like that. This transit is also a really interesting one, because if you have been addicted to anything, chocolate, alcohol, sleeping too much, whatever you may have been addicted to, whatever entrapment situation you might have found yourself in your life, this is a liberating time when Uranus turns direct in the first house. You can free yourself now and never go back. So yay, things to celebrate, wonderful things can happen with Uranus in the first house turning direct. Now, my beautiful Taurus rising sun and moon friends, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to win a solar return report for the month of January. Or go and join the Royal Stars Academy for $500 off. There's only 1 week left that you can do this in, and then it's going back to the normal price. Come and study astrology with me in 2023. Thank you. Now, moving along, who are we doing next? We're going to do Aries next, and that puts Uranus turning direct in the second house of the horoscope for our Aries rising sun or moon people. People who have Aries strong in their chart are going to feel this week, during Uranus's turning direct, that they need an independent source of income. So you might be considering freelancing. You might be considering starting joining Airbnb, because it's going to give you a chance to make money in a way where you're not employed by someone. You might launch your own website or something like that. Independent sources of income are going to be very strongly on your mind for the next week or so while Uranus is turning direct here. You might consider freelancing or becoming a consultant or something. That's one way this can express, but it's not so much about what you do, it's about how the money is made, and it's going to be made, or you're going to want it to be made, independently. There could be some disruptions, my beautiful Aries friends, to your stability this week, but it has a purpose. There is a meaning behind this. It is occurring to push you into new ways of independence. Now, our stability, I'm talking about the stability that comes from our material well-being in life. So something might shake your tree a little bit with that sort of thing, and you might be like, oh my goodness, I'm going to go get a second job, or I'm going to launch my YouTube channel or whatever, or I'm going to open this website or something, or I'm going to start an Etsy store. Some disruption, because Uranus is a disruptive energy, might occur that pushes you into some independent way of making money. Your value system can go through a quirky upheaval too during this time, this week ahead. So, you might find what you once valued is not what you value now. You thought you loved this, or you thought this meant something to you, and now you realize, not for me, I don't want that anymore. The value system is seen through the second house, what you value, what you love. And there might be some changes, some radical changes to what you value and what you love. And if you are attracted to the artistic side of life, as many Taurus in the second house people are, You might find that you're drawn to more revolutionary or bohemian artistic expressions. Let's say you go to a gallery every weekend, or you like going to art exhibitions. Well, this weekend's the weekend for going to that lowbrow art exhibition, rather than the highfalutin art. So you might even find yourself at what's that beautiful scrolly work that they put on hot rods and things like that. There's a name for it, and I don't know, it's running away from me, but that car detailing. You might go to an exhibition of car detailing kind of thing. Something really alternative and unusual that you wouldn't necessarily consider is like mainstream art. So that could be in your periphery, because this is a house of the pleasurable experiences of life, the artistic, and with Uranus turning direct here, there's going to be a focus on the unusual and artistic. So yay, enjoy that, my friends. Now, that's really all that I need to share for you guys about Uranus turning direct, but I do want to let you know that there is one more week to get on board with the Royal Stars Academy for $500 off, and then it's going to go back to normal price. If you've been thinking about studying astrology this year, becoming certified, or just doing it for your own pleasure, then you've got 1 week to come join me at the Royal Stars Academy. Links in the description below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel in order to go into the draw to win a solar return report. Okay, Pisces rising, sun or moon people, not peeps. All right, let's hold you steady there, Pisces. And what we are saying is Uranus turning direct in your 3rd house. Now, Uranus has been there for some time, Pisces. We know that. Been there for a few years now, so we're well and truly entrenched in the Uranus in 3rd house energy. But when Uranus turns direct, it's like, he really sort of burrows down on his energy in a certain realm of the chart. He sort of amplifies his energy in a certain realm of the chart. And for we Pisces, sun, rising, or moon people, well, it's all about 3rd house things. So we're going to potentially be awakened to some new hobby or new skill. We could wake up an old skill that we had forgotten all about too. Something that we thought we were talented at, maybe when we were 12 or 13, might come back into our lives, and we might get a lot of joy out of it. But more than that, I think, it's the awakening to new talents, new skills in our life that we never even knew we'd be good at until we dabble in it, or we dip our toe in it. We could come up with some bright new ideas for anything, for our lives, for how to make a buck. This is the house of our own small businesses and side hustles and things. So you might get a bright new idea for that, but you might get a bright new idea for a story you want to write, or a magazine that you want to submit an article for, or a website design or something. Bright new ideas in almost any realm. This is our thinking house, how we think, what we think about, and you're going to come up with these wonderful Uranian sparks of innovation and creativity, these aha moments, these light bulb signatures. So get ready. Have your dream book, and I've talked a lot about my little dream book that I carry around with me. Have it by your bedside, have it in your handbag or your man bag, so that you can write down whatever new sparks of ideas and creativity pop into your mind. Now, when Uranus is highly active in the 3rd house, as he will be this coming week, our mind kind of wakes up, and it will potentially wake up to some sort of liberating truth in your life. You'll have a epiphany, a realization, an aha moment. Like suddenly you'll see the synchronicities. Suddenly you'll join the dots. In fact, Uranus in the 3rd house is in the natal chart is a very quirky placement. Often it's associated with sort of some like ADHD kind of behaviors and that kind of thing, or an inability to learn in a conventional manner. We want to go the interesting route, and sort of we've got quite an erratic mind that can't sit still. Our mind can't sit still for long. So we learn best through explorative play and following wherever our mind happens to lead. And as you can tell, conventional education systems do not work if you've got that in your natal chart. It's really, really hard for Uranus in the 3rd house people to go through conventional education systems. If you've got a child with it, please look to a Steiner school or a Montessori school or something. It will be far more well suited to your child's disposition and then you avoid the loss of ego and the sense of I'm no good that comes from, putting a child who's not suited to the education system in the education system. Okay, but I don't need to rant on about that. It's just something that's very passionate and close to my heart. So what I was saying was that the mind wakes up to some sort of liberating truth, some understanding, some awareness, and that's seeing that linking of the dots. And indeed, when we think about people who might have dyslexia, they see it's not that they're not smart. I mean, I had dyslexia when I was growing up, sort of managing it much better now than I did when I was at primary school and what have you. But the mind wakes up to a liberating truth. The reason I'm saying that is, when we think about, say, a dyslexic person, they'll see numbers back the front or words back the front, or spelt in a different way in their head, and that's because their mind is wiring at on a different level. It's not that it's wrong, but the mind is working differently, and that's what we're talking about. Suddenly you see things differently when Uranus turns direct in the third house. You see things in a new way that you never imagined could be true, and when you see that, suddenly things make more sense. Suddenly it all falls into place. Suddenly there's a liberation in your thought processes. So that's what I'm meaning by that. You might find this is a social house, that you are encountering people who are somehow unique, interesting, quirky. You might make some new unique associations and connections that could be very valuable in your life. There can also be Uranus turning direct in the third house, some difficulty with your siblings, so be aware of that. That could play out over the next 6 months. There just could be some confrontations or, challenging moments. There could also be, if you are, like I am, very, very interested in occult topics, and astrology, of course, is one of the occult topics, then this is going to be a great week to learn something new, to expand your knowledge. So, if you've got a pile of astrology books or occult books by the bed, get into them, get stuck into them this week, because it will be easier to understand. It will solidify in your mind more. You will again see things from a new and empowered perspective, because Uranus has to do with the occult and the astrological. So use that energy turning direct in the house of the mind to learn something new and expand your mind about astrology. And that said, my beautiful Pisces friends, there's one more week to subscribe or join the Royal Stars Academy at a $500 discount. Now, this is the introductory level. Come and join me and learn astrology with me this year. And if you sign up this week, you, of all the signs, Pisces, are going to be particularly blessed, because your learning journey with astrology will contain a just newly turned direct Uranus in the third house. One of the best placements, apart from being in the 8th house, one of the best placements for learning and understanding astrology. So make the most of this, my Pisces friends. Come and learn astrology with me under this influence of Uranus turning direct. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel to go into the draw to win a solar return report this January. Alrighty, my beautiful Aquarius, rising sun or moon people. The energy of Uranus turning direct is actually going to be felt for you in, where am I? 4th house, not 2nd house, 4th house. Now, this is going to be quite important, because obviously Uranus rules your rising sign. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus in the modern sense. So you will feel this quite deeply, not only because of that, but because it's falling in an angular house. And whenever something's in an angular house, it manifests more pronounced in our lives. So Uranus turning direct, it could trigger some sort of separation from family. It could mean that, you've had enough of hearing, Dad's complaints since Christmas, and I'm just not going to have anything more to do with him, Or, Mum has decided she's going to move to the other side of the country out of the blue. And you're like, what? Mum, what are you doing? Sudden, shocking separations, changes in dynamic with a parent, or it could be with your children, because that is also seen, family, your parenting style, yourself. So our parents and our personal parenting style are seen from the 4th house. So you could see your mum relocating, or you might experience a relocation on some sort of massive level. You know, you might get a job offer in another country and away you go. You might find that, you know, I don't know, you win Tats Lotto and away you go. You're moving to a brand new house in a brand new suburb that you never imagined you'd be. We're talking about like big impactful moves, not just, you know, oh, we've got a new renter moving into the house or something like that. It's more large scale when Uranus is the ruler of your first house, changing direction in an angular fourth house. So yeah, that's one way that it expresses. Another way it might express is that you might decide to do some sort of renovations to your home. You know, it might be signing the contract to say, hey, I'm gonna, you know, rewire my whole home. Uranus rules electricity. You might decide you're going to get a whole new room put on, or replace the roof or something big. A big renovation to your home is possible under this energy. I would also suggest, while we're talking about the bricks and mortar home, do a double check this week on your electrical appliances, my Aquarius rising friends. You know, make sure everything's plugged in properly. There's no sort of mouse-tuned cords that have got exposed wires or anything like that around your house. Make sure your electricity is all good, all G, as my son says, because Uranus rules electricity, and Uranus will be being very powerful in the fourth house of home this week. So you want to make sure that if you're going to have a power surge, everything's okay. You know, you might want to install a safety switch if you don't already have one. It might feel very difficult this week, Aquarius, to generate a settled and peaceful life. You'll be more restless, more wanting to make a move, more looking for change, more sort of looking for what feels good, and that might mean something completely different than you usually experience. It can bring, for some people, liberation in relation to their place of living and liberation to their experience of family life. Maybe up until this week you felt family life was really heavy and difficult, and after this change of direction, suddenly you feel alive, suddenly you feel empowered, and you know the whole dynamic of family life or domestic life changes. So thank you, my Aquarius friends. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you would like to go into the draw to win a solar return or year ahead report from me, from Guiding Star Astrology. And don't also forget that there is only 1 week left for you to join the Royal Stars Academy at the introductory level and come and learn astrology with me for $500 off in 2023. 1 week left, and then it goes back to normal price. Okay, now for our Capricorn rising sun or moon people. Well, you guys have the energy of Uranus changing direction occurring down here in the 5th house. Well, Uranus rules your 2nd house, which is a house of finances. This is in modern astrology that Uranus rules Aquarius. And so we're seeing this combination of heavy-duty Uranian energy in the 5th and 2nd houses, which is actually quite a blessed combination. It could mean that for our Capricorn friends, some kind of financial blessing and luck. 5th house is luck. Uranus is the ruler of the 2nd house. 5th house is luck. Some sort of lucky financial break, lucky financial opportunity that comes your way with the change of direction. It could also bring this week about some sort of surprising romantic experience. Now, you might have been married, like the old couple rocking on the veranda together and not saying a word. You might have been married for years, you know, and then all of a sudden your partner comes home one afternoon and sweeps you off your feet, and you're like, oh my goodness, what's got into you? Uranus has got into them. Surprising romantic experiences are possible, Capricorn. So lap it up and enjoy it. And maybe you might choose to instigate it. Maybe you might get the impetus to make the effort to create a romantic spark in your relationship. Some people, okay, this is not for everybody, but some people who are wanting to do so might find that suddenly they conceive a child with Uranus turning direct. So it's because the Uranian surprising energy is happening in the 5th house. Now, of children. So if you're sexually active and you don't want a child, take all precautions this week, because you don't want to be shocked or surprised with something that you don't want to hear. But for those who are looking for something, and there needs to be, obviously I need to assess everybody's individual chart to say, hey, you're going to get pregnant this week. But this is a positive energy to help if that's something you've been striving for, okay? The energy of, sudden changes if you've been trying for a while. Just the momentum of the Uranian energy is increased so dramatically this week that it could actually help give you an outcome that you're looking for. Now, it's a house of creativity and hobbies, obviously, and your interest in quirky hobbies or quirky artistic ventures and that sort of thing can increase. Maybe you love painting and you just that's one of your hobbies. You're painting all the time, and you always love to paint. Maybe botany, flowers and things like that, and bugs and stuff. And then all of a sudden, Uranus, burrows down on 14 degrees of Taurus, and you're really feeling this heavy-duty Uranian influence. You're like, you know what? I'm going to draw some cartoons this week. Uranus rules cartoon drawings. I'm going to put my botany aside and I'm going to draw some cartoons, I'm going to, design a superhero costume or something like that. And, going really into something left of center artistically. And go with it. Have fun with it. That's the playfulness of Uranus in the house of play, the 5th house, the house of fun, the house of joy, and the house of creativity and hobbies. So enjoy, my Capricorn friends. Now, there's only 1 week left for you to join me at the Royal Stars Academy introductory level and learn astrology for 2023. It's $500 off. You don't want to miss this bargain because next week it goes back to the normal price. So jump in now while you can. And also don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this YouTube channel in order to go into the competition to win a solar return report for January. Thank you, Capricorn. Now, Sagittarius rising, sun or moon people, the energy of our beautiful changing direction Uranus in Taurus is occurring in, let me get that straight, stay there, whoa Nelly, as they say, in your 6th house. That's where all the emphasis is for Saggy people. So Uranus rules your 3rd house of, trading, buying, selling, learning something new, paperwork, and getting structure and organization is the very 3rd house. And it's in the 6th house of health, well-being, and balancing out things that are inharmonious. So how does this then express for us? Well, put it this way, Uranus changing directions can mean you might lose weight this week. If that's something you've been looking to do, well, cheers for you. You might find that there's a drop on the scales. Now, it may only be temporary. You might bounce right back up again the week after, because Uranus can be a bit of a roller coaster like that. But that can certainly be how this expresses. Also, I would encourage you to watch your health, because Uranus brings unexpected events. You might have, I don't know, what might you have? You might have, something that goes, I don't know, wrong with your arm or something like that. And because of, or your shoulder or something. And, because you hadn't been careful, you weren't watching your health. And Uranus can give you some trouble in the house of health and well-being. So be aware. It can also shake up your daily routines. 6th house is daily routines. And so there might be a lot of changes. You might think, okay, this is how my day goes. I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. I'm going to do my yoga. I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And something untoward happens. You injure your shoulder at night. You roll onto your shoulder and it pops out of its socket or something. And you're like, oh my goodness. And you end up at the emergency department and you're there all morning instead of doing your yoga and getting up at 6 o'clock. So be prepared that hopefully nothing negative, but something might happen to shake up your routine and change it all up. And sometimes it's healthy, it creates, new neural pathways when we get out of a routine, when we drive a different way to work, when we eat something different for breakfast. And I would encourage you to dabble in a bit of that this week. If you're a person who does the same old like a machine, it's really healthy this week to do it differently, just for the sake of it, and create some new neural pathways. Uranus is going to love that, and he will highly approve of you doing that under this energy. There could be some changes this week to your work life, Sagittarius. Big changes too, like, changing career direction, or you're working on this project and then somebody else is going to take over and you're going to go on to that project. So bright new career directions or work life directions. Some of you might even decide, this job that I'm in is not authentic to me. It's not real. I feel like I'm wearing a mask all the time and not being my true self in this career. So it's time for a change. Uranus is change. And when he changes direction, you could be changing direction work-wise, career-wise too. So don't be surprised if suddenly a job offer comes to you and you're like, that's more me. That's where I'm going. That's what it's all about. And away you go. So bright new innovations and changes in career, or changes and innovations in your health routine and what you're eating and how you're exercising, or your daily routine. That's the crux of Uranus changing direction. Now, my beautiful Sagittarius friends, as you will well know, there's only 1 week left to join the Royal Stars Academy for $500 off. So do come and join me and study astrology in 2023, and you can work towards getting your certification down the track. The link's in the description below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel to go into the draw to win a solar return report for the month of January. Thank you, Saggy friends. Scorpio rising, sun or moon people. Whoa. Well, I don't need my little clip on there. The energy of Uranus turning direct is happening for you in your, I was going to say 4th house, your 7th house. Uranus rules your 4th house. So a lot of angular activation here as Uranus turns direct in the angular house and rules your 4th house. So what will happen? Well, this week, with so much heavy Uranian energy here, you might find that somebody comes into your life who's going to shake you out of a rut. Maybe you're sick of your workplace and somebody comes in and just gives it that spark and that firecracker energy, and you're like, hang on, this isn't so bad after all. Or, it could be a relationship. Somebody might come into your life and you're like, oh my goodness, they've really given me a buzz and lifted my heart. I feel really good about this. This connection with this person. Or, there might even be changes in your relationship, a business partnership or a marriage or something like that give it more sparkle, that give it more flurry, more of a delight. So either someone can come into your life and shake you out of a rut, or something can happen in a relationship that shakes you out of a rut with that relationship. So Uranus can do amazing things here. I was talking with a friend this week about how in the divine realms, the rules are different to what they are on planet Earth. And Uranus tends not to abide by the rules of Earth. So sometimes this is why Uranus rules things like divorce and other left of center quirky things that are not the rules of Earth. So Uranus can bring a lot of upheavals to relationships. Okay, I just want to point that out when he is changing direction in the 7th house. But whatever he does, and in whatever house he's in, no matter where, whatever he does for our liberation. He does in order for us to understand who we are deeply and our authentic truth and get back to our authentic self. That's how he works. That's what Uranus is all about. And he doesn't tend to worry about the rules of Earth. He abides by the rules of heaven. Okay, if that makes sense to people. Anyone familiar with the Mahabharata will understand what I'm talking about when I say that. Now, relationships can change in a dynamic way, which is the point, and that's what I'm trying to say. Now, it could be work relationships, personal relationships, business relationships, can even be friendships. So, if you're single and you're not looking for a relationship and that's not even something that you want, watch your friendships. They could get, real shake up this week. It will be a fast change when this occurs this week, and it will tend to be quite life-changing. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I've met you and, you've just turned my life around kind of stuff. Fabulous energy that is going to help you come more to your authenticity and truth and liberation. Sometimes when Uranus is in a process of moving through the 7th house, as he has been for a few years, still got about 2 to 3 years to go, he can create long-distance relationships in a person's life. So That may be instigated now with his turning direct for Scorpio people. It may have already happened. It might not be going to happen until he gets to his final year in your 7th house, Scorpio friends. But it could happen for some of you this week ahead. Or you might encounter people from far away who down the track become some sort of relationship or great friend or something like that. So you might meet them this week and not realize that they're going to be quite life-changing in some way in your life. I also would suggest be careful if you're in a relationship that's volatile already, because Uranus turning direct amplifies Uranian energy, and in the 7th house, Uranus has a tendency to bring on again, off again relationships. So a relationship could break up under this energy, or you could make up under this energy, but it might still not be a very stable relationship, okay? Just letting you know. He can also bring the breaking of relationship taboos. Why? Because Uranus doesn't follow the rules of Earth, right? He is such an unusual planet in the sky. He spins in a different direction to the rest of the planets, you know. He does it his own way. He's so unique, and he doesn't follow the earthbound rules. So if you're in a relationship, you might experience breaking of the usual taboos that are in relationship. I mean, it could just look like you decide to get kinky in the bedroom, and that's how it expresses, you know. What's wrong with that? So yeah, that's how Uranus might be working for you guys, my Scorpio friends, this week. Now, my friends, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel in order to go into the draw to win a solar return report for the month of January. I would also encourage you, if you want to come and study astrology with me, do so in the next week, because only for one more week we're going to have $500 off the Royal Stars Academy, and then it goes back to its normal price. If you've been thinking about it, don't dilly-dally any longer. Come and join me and learn astrology in 2023. Links in the description. Thank you, Scorpio. Now Libra rising, sun or moon people. Well, Libra friends, Uranus is turning direct in your 8th house. Woo-wee. Uranus loves to be in the 8th house, actually. He's very, very comfortable there, because the 8th house is about fast change, and so is Uranus. The 8th house is about astrology and occult topics, and so is Uranus. So there's a lot of similarities here, and they feel pretty good together. But for some Libran people in this last week of January, there could be some sudden change, like some big sudden changes in your life. This is the house of sudden changes, Librans. This is the house of big turnarounds, you know, big, and sometimes traumatic events, but sometimes breakthroughs, big changes. And when Uranus is, you know, burrowing down in the 8th house at 14 degrees, practically just halfway through, or just hitting the halfway mark, halfway through Taurus, he's bringing a lot of power and energy of change and 180-degree turns around into your life. Now, let's break down what that might look like. It might be, for some Libran people, that you get a sudden inheritance or a sudden windfall or a sudden bankruptcy. Uranus is not discerning. Here's the roller coaster. It might be very high or it might be very low. Uranus can bring change, okay? So there's not much you can do to prepare for that, I must admit. As a Libran moon person myself, I'm thinking, well, not much I can do. I'm just going to hang on for whatever ride Uranus wants to bring me as he turns direct here. But be aware, and then you won't be so surprised. It's actually a really good time to utilize this energy, because we know Uranus does very well in the 8th house. It's a really good time to quit bad habits and make life changes this week. So if you need to give up smoking, if you need to stop eating chocolate, if you want to get rid of, you know, caffeine out of your life, whatever it happens to be, and I've given you all sort of health metaphors there, but it could be any other bad habit as well. This is a week. Do it, because Uranus is giving you great energy to have a breakthrough and leave that addiction behind. So go for it, my friends. Use this energy. And it's also, Librans, a really good time to invest in anything Uranian, because this is a financial house, the 8th house, other people's money, and, you know, investments in other people's companies, in other people's ventures, in other people's innovations and businesses. So, you know, invest in astrology, invest in electronics, alternative politics, invest in the internet. Use this energy to explore those options, and who knows, you might make a good buck down the track, because Uranus was behind you all the way at this time. So that's it in a nutshell, my beautiful Librans. I will also add this is a house of sex. If you're in a sexual relationship, it could get kinky, it could get explorative, it could get fun this week in that way. Lap it up and enjoy it for what it is. You know, no judgment. Uranus, as I just said to my Scorpio friends, Scorpio rising sun and moon friends, Uranus does not operate by the rules of Earth. It operates by the laws of heaven, which are utterly different to what is acceptable down here. And so that's why he can get kinky. And why not? Why not enjoy Uranus doing some of that crazy stuff, as long as it doesn't harm anybody in your 8th house. Have fun. Thank you, Librans. Virgo. Oh, I want to mention too. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. Let me let that sit still. That if you want to win a solar return report for the month of January, all you've got to do is like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and share this video. You go into the draw. Let me know in the comment section that you've done so, Librans. And also, if you want to study astrology in the year ahead, and you want to do so for a real bargain, come and join me at the Royal Stars Academy introductory level. There's 1 week left to get it for $500 off. So cheap. You want to join me, come and do workshops with me, learn astrology with videos and textbooks that I provide from me. Come and expand your understanding of the heavens. I'll catch you at the Royal Stars Academy. Okay. Now Virgo rising, Virgo sun, Virgo moon. All right, let's hold you nice and still. Virgo, the Uranus turning direct is occurring up here in your 9th house, one of the blessed houses, the good karma houses. And there might be, it's in Vedic, it's actually one of the houses of the father. There could be some significant changes this week as Uranus turns direct to the relationship you have with your father. You know, for better or worse, Uranus is not sort of discriminating about anything like that, but it is about liberation. So if you have felt stifled by your father's influence, if you have felt squashed by your father in some way, if there's not a good relationship, I would say, with your father, there could be a change now that comes with Uranus turning direct. There could be maybe the father moves away to the other side of the country and you're like, oh, thank God, now I can breathe again. Or suddenly dad's loving and kind and supportive and caring and you're like, wow, didn't see that coming. So big changes that could result from Uranus turning direct in a house that has to do with father figures. If you are at university or at some sort of high level, doing some sort of high level education, there could be disruptions. You know, maybe you enrolled in a course and then you find out that the computer had failed to enroll you and you've got to deal with the mess that creates and, you know, try and get it all worked out. Disruptions to education in some manner can result from too much Uranus energy in the 9th house, I have to say. But this transit can be very good for people who are in very Uranian type careers, if they're scientists, if they're, you know, occultists, if they are working with electricity in any way, for example, if they're working on the internet or in Silicon Valley. These, the transit of Uranus when Uranus is so strong can actually be very helpful to anyone in a Uranian career. And I would also suggest that, my beautiful Virgo friends, if you are feeling stuck at this time and you've got the means to do so, travel to a foreign culture, 9th house, or undertaking some sort of higher level learning can really bless you, because Uranus is to get you out of a rut, and it's going to do so through 9th house means for our Virgo friends. So that means a bit of travel, that means going to a new culture, that means understanding something from a higher perspective, higher vantage point by studying it or getting a book at a very high level about a certain topic. So you might find that the opportunity to study something or to travel or to connect with people from a different culture suddenly blossoms in your life in a way that you didn't expect, out of the blue. Sudden change in that regard, coming from Uranus's highly strong and influential influence in the 9th house. Now, I just want to encourage you, my Virgo friends, if you haven't already done so, like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel in order to go into the competition to win a solar return report for the month of January. Also, if you're keen to study astrology in 2023, and I hope you are, come and do so with me for $500 off the usual price. It's only going to be $500 off for the next week, and then it goes back to the normal price, so you don't want to miss out. The link's in the description below. All right, Leo rising sun or moon people. Well, my lovely Leos, we are seeing Uranus turning direct in an angular house for you, the 10th house, the house of career. Uranus also, for you guys, rules your 7th house. So he's quite an influential planet because he's on an angle. 10th house is an angle, and he rules an angle in modern astrology. So it can be quite impactful this week for our beautiful Leo friends. Mostly you're going to feel it in the realm of the 10th house. Some of you people might say, that's it, I'm done with this career, I've had a gutful. Some people might quit a career, some people might get fired from a career. There could be a sudden new career opportunity that lands in your lap, that comes out of the blue. You're like, oh my goodness, this is the job of my dreams. Big changes can occur when Uranus changes direction in the 10th house, especially if it happens to be shifting direction at 14 degrees on your midheaven point, if it's there. I expect that you're going to go through some really big changes if that's the case. Oftentimes Uranus here can create a dream career that feels very authentic to you, but it tends to do this over the course of 7 years as he moves through Taurus. But there's going to be some key event in the orchestration of that's going to unfold this week. Maybe you meet a certain person who can help your dream career flourish, or you start networking with a group of people that opens new doors into the pathway you want to take. So something can happen this week along this journey towards a dream career that will feel authentic and liberating and empowering for you. So nice. Some of you might receive a quick rise to fame in some area of life. Like I'm a Leo sun. What do I do for a living? I do YouTube videos and astrology readings and teach astrology. So let's use me as an example. Uranus rules the internet in the 10th house of my career. I might get a lot of people watching this video. I hope that's the case. I hope I get a ton of people, more than usual, over 20,000 people watching this video, liking, sharing, and subscribing to this channel and helping my channel to grow. So, quick rise to fame. You know, we often see in the charts of people who are in reality TV programs, they often have a prominent 10th house Uranus either transiting or natally, and that gives them that quick rise to fame that occurs through things like, reality TV, but then equally they can have a sudden fall from grace, sudden disappearance. You never heard of them and who the hell was that kind of thing. So there's not a lot of longevity in what Uranus brings, but it can bring sudden opportunities. So grab that opportunity and make the most of it while it lasts. For some of you, Leo people, and we know that you have great leadership qualities as it is, because that's just the nature of a Leo character, but with Uranus giving so much oomph and energy to your 10th house this week, it's possible that some of you might become some sort of a revolutionary Uranus leader. So, rallying the masses, hosting a petition to make a change in some way, getting out there in the streets and protesting the BS of the WEF or something like that. Like, you might be really getting into it as a leader of social change, of social revolution. And Lord only knows we need that on the planet right now. With that comes a rise in social stature that is possible for you this week too. So that sounds like fun if that's something you want, my Leo friends. So I would just encourage you to like, share and subscribe to this channel, to go into the draw to win a solar return chart that's being drawn for the month of January. And if you want to study astrology and learn all its ins and outs with me, come and do so at the Royal Stars Academy. Links in the description below. I'm offering $500 off for one more week, and then it goes back to the normal price. So don't miss out. This is your chance. Thank you, Leo. Alrighty. And Cancer rising sun or moon people. The energy of Uranus changing direction is occurring for you very powerfully in your 11th house. Now, if you've been feeling stuck, my Cancer friends, like stuck in a rut, life is heavy, it feels hard, I would encourage you, join some sort of social movement, an inspirational movement, find yourself a benefactor or mentor who's got a big following, and be inspired and uplifted that way. This week, Uranus is going to help you to be blessed by those sorts of things. So that might mean jumping on the internet and looking at somebody on YouTube. Maybe you look at me, maybe you look at, Deepak Chopra or Who else? Who else is really good? There's so many. I've got a number flooding through my head and none of them are giving me names. I can see their faces. But find yourself some inspiring person, a mentor, join a political movement, get active, and you will really unstuck yourself from whatever rut you're in life. Particularly if it involves social activism, I might say. This is a house of doing what's best for humanity, having a vision for humanity and humanitarian causes. So get involved with those sorts of things if you need to loosen up. You might experience some changes this week with friendships because this is a house of friendship groups. And friendship networks. So, you might be changing friendship networks. Doesn't mean that you don't love your old friends, but maybe you're making new friends. Maybe you encounter people who are a bit quirky, left of center, unusual in some way that really broadens your horizons and helps you come into your true self so much more. That could be quite exciting. There can be changes to your earnings this week too. This is a house of what we earn from the things we do out there in the world, the contribution we make to the world. So, from your career, essentially. This is the money you make from your career. So there might be a change in that regard. You might get a promotion. Now, Uranus doesn't necessarily promise positive change, but he is the roller coaster of change. So it could be for some people that you take a cut in pay. And that might cause you to start looking for a career elsewhere that brings authentic, real change into your life. That's what Uranus always wants to do. He wants us to be real. He wants us to be authentic and true. And we can't live a lie. If we've got a prominent Uranus in our chart, we have to follow our truth. So you might find that if there is a drop in pay or something similar, social status or something this week, that it prompts you to find what's real for you, what works for you, what feels right to you. Okay, but changes to earnings is a hallmark of a strong emphasis of Uranian energy in the 11th house. And you might find that you're inspired through a conversation with a friend or a connection with a like-minded person this week. So, don't be off in la la land or on your phone when you're having coffee with your friend down the street. Pay attention, listen. There's something in your friendship dynamics this week that could be life-changing for you. So my Cancer friends, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel to go into the draw to win a solar return report for January. And also don't forget that you have one more week to join me at the Royal Stars Academy introductory level and learn astrology in 2023 for $500 off. One more week and then it's back to normal price. Don't miss out. Alrighty, Gemini. Thanks for waiting till last, my gorgeous Gemini friends. Gemini rising, Gemini sun, Gemini moon. Well, the energy of Uranus changing direction for you is impacting here your 12th house. So this can be very, very interesting for a lot of Gemini people. You might find that in some way you break out of isolation. You break out of some sort of sense of bondage in your life and suddenly you feel free. It's like the weight just rolls off the back of your shoulders and you can stand up straight for the first time in years maybe. There is this breaking free energy, particularly if you felt isolated or left out of society or like you don't belong. Suddenly there's this beautiful sense, beautiful energy of belonging that can come your way with Uranus turning direct here and giving empowerment to the 12th house. You could also be somebody who is helping others to break free as well. So in that sense, it could be really, really wonderful too. You could be the inspiration that helps other people see the truth and be liberated and step out of either their comfort zone or the rut that they're in. There might also be, you might find it very interesting, there could be a lot of wild and erratic dreams for you this week, Gemini. Most of them, you may not be aware, but most of them will have something to do with past life memories and a bursting out of, certain personality traits that you are confronted with or dealing with. Because of that, expect some sleep disruptions. That electric energy of Uranus could, give you leg spasms in the middle of the night or something. If that's the case, go and take some magnesium because that Uranus, highly Uranian energy is soothed by having magnesium in the diet. Sleep disruptions, yes, so wild dreams and you wake up and then you fall back to sleep and another wild dream and wake up and fall back to sleep, or insomnia, okay? So if you've got insomnia, know that it's just a passing energy. It's not going to last. stick a meditation on your phone beside the bed, and a lot of people say don't have your phone beside your bed because it can cause tumors and blah blah blah, but whatever, put something on in some way so that you can meditate or relax or listen to a lecture. Just don't fight the inability to sleep for this period, because it is only temporary while Uranus turns direct in your 12th house of sleep. So that's it in a nutshell. Quick whiz around today for my gorgeous Zodiac followers. Gemini, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel to go into the draw to win a solar return report for January. And you've only got 1 week left. 1 week left to join me at the Royal Stars Academy for $500 off the usual price. And then it goes back to normal price. Don't miss out. Come and study astrology with me in 2023. My lovely friends, I will be with you again next week for another Astro Weather Report. Thank you for joining me every week. It is a blessing and a delight, as always, to share what's happening in the heavens with you. I'll catch you next week.